beautiful model, Rahizanel, and I'm going to show you guys my full tutorial on how to do a beautiful smoky eye that's super wearable every day and it looks good on every eye shape. So I'm going to take this light color, and it's fairly light, but I'm going to press it into her skin, and it's going to match the concealer we already have on her eyes. They're going to blend together and it's going to look very diffused. I want this to look like a natural highlight. I don't want it to look like I pressed in white powder. So I'm going to press it in right under the highest point of her arch and just blend down. And I'm going to do the same thing to the inside corner. Eyeshadow is all about playing with like highlights and shadows to change the shape of your eyes. And we want to make her eyes stand out and lift her brows a little bit. So I'm lightening this area up. And I always do this first so that my crease color can kind of diffuse into it. Okay, so now that that's on, I'm going to take a fluffy blending brush, and because she has a smaller lid space, I'm going to use a smaller brush than I usually do, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a light crease color right there. Go in with a really light hand, especially because I already did her foundation. If you do eyes first before foundation and you have fallout, it's totally fine. You can wipe it up with a makeup wipe and stuff like that, but if you do your foundation first, you want to try to avoid the fallout of the shadows. So not packing too much on your brush helps, tapping your brush off helps, and then going in with a really soft hand also helps too. So I'm just smoothing this out in her crease. So I'm going to start with a V, and then I'm going to transition into a round shape. So I'm pressing my brush on the outside corner, lifting up into that V and swooping it in towards the inside corner. I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye, and this shade is super light, so this is going to be my lightest color. So I'm going to transition all the smoky to match up into this. So I'm going to start on the outside corner. And when I have a lot of shadow in my brush, I start by pressing it into the skin, and then I do little swirls to blend it, and then like a windshield wiper motion to blend it through the crease. And she has a great lid space. She's not hooded or anything, so she's gonna look super pretty with this. Eye makeup, I'm so excited. Me too. Just send your hubby pictures. He's out of town for you, glammed up. So I'm going to go over that one more time because I am doing darker shadows. I want this to be a little bit darker, but a good rule of thumb is to go 3 or 4 shades darker than your natural skin tone. And I'm doing the corners first because I want those to be the darkest. And then I bring it in and I stop right about there, and then I really lightly swoop it in. I kind of want to do a rounded shape, but you don't want the shadows to be dark, too dark right there. If they are, you can take that brush that had that lighter brow bone color and you can just slightly dust over it and it will soften it a little bit. You want the darkness to be on the outside corners because we want to lift the eyes and we want to create definition. You don't want to create definition in places you don't want. Like you don't want to look angry and heavy right there, so you don't want dark colors. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with a second color. It's a little bit darker. So every time I'm stepping down probably like 3 shades, I'm going to go in with like a warm brown. It's a little bit bolder. And every shadow formula is a little bit different. These are Viseart and these are very soft and creamy, but they're very powdery. So you can't have too much on your brush or you'll get a lot of fallout. So you'll notice I did the lighter crease color up here, and then I'm keeping this one a little bit lower and just blending them together. I don't want to cover up the crease color I already did. We want to create a nice gradient. A lot of people, when they do smoky eyes, they'll start by packing the dark shadow all over the lid and then they'll try to blend it. And you absolutely can do that, but it just makes it a little bit harder. If you start with your blending, by the time you get to the darker color, it's super easy. Like your blending's already done. And I'll show you how I do that. So you'll notice too, I V'd out the lighter color fairly far. With this one, I'm keeping more of a round shape. Slightly V'ing it out just to give our eyes a little bit of lift, and I'm working from the corner inside, and I am swirling this all over the lid just to give it a base for the darker shadows. And then I'm gonna do a nice dome shape, so I'm going from there all the way down to there. So I'm doing browns on her just to show you guys a color that looks good on everybody. You cannot go wrong with these warm tone browns, but you can absolutely play around with color. If you watched any of my other lives, last night we did like a midnight blue smoky eye on a girl who had crystal blue eyes and it made them pop. So you can do any color. I have green eyes, I like to do purples with like a pink transition. You can do mauves, are also really pretty and really flattering. You can do anything. Those warm tone like peachy shadows are really popular right now too, and that would be beautiful too. It's the exact same technique no matter the colors. You just want your different shades and to get your gradient. Okay, turn towards me. So one thing that changes the harshness of your smoky eye is how dark you do this inside corner. So like I said, I wanted to show you guys a very wearable, more natural smoky eye that's gonna look good all the time with any color. You can wear it anywhere. So I'm gonna keep this a little bit lighter. I'll show you guys how I get definition there without making it too crazy. And just remember when you go in with like these really powdery shadows, just to press first to deposit most of the pigment and then blend when there's not much left on your brush. You won't get any fallout that way. And it's not that big of a deal if you do. You can wipe it away with a makeup wipe and add more under eye concealer. You can also add a translucent powder under your eyes when you're doing your smoky eye, and that will catch any powder fallout, and then you can wipe it away when you're done. But I don't always like to do that because that dries out the under eye area and it gives the under eye more texture. So you can also get, they sell little shadow shields. Have you ever seen those? Those like stickers you put under your eye when you do your makeup? They're kind of awesome. I've never used them, but if you love to do your foundation first and you always have fallout, they exist. Okay, so now I have like my medium color down. So this for some people is like plenty. Like this could be your look. You can add a little bit of shimmer on top if you wanted. But I'm gonna do one more color. I'm gonna go a little bit darker on her. So I'm gonna go again, probably 3 more shades darker, and I'm gonna grab a dome brush. This is the same one that I did her under eye color with, and I pressed it on. It's really nice for pressing and packing shadows. So I'm gonna pick up my darkest color. I'm gonna press the color on starting right at the base of her lashes. Like if you see now that fluffy brush, it's not very good at getting a lot of pigment down near the lashes, and I want that to be really dark. Like that is what makes a smoky eye, is having it really diffused from your lash line. So it's really important that we get a lot of product pressed down in there. I have a couple different sizes of these brushes. This is like my standard like medium to large brush, but depending on the size of your eyes, sometimes getting one that's a little bit smaller is helpful too, because you can be really, really precise. So you'll notice I'm pressing the shadows right at the base, all the way in, and then I'm gonna pack some more up to meet that crease. And I always start at the base. Like I said, that's where it's going to be the darkest, and then when you don't have much on your brush, you can lightly pack it to meet the crease. And I'll probably do a little bit more blending, but you can see like even now it's blended into the crease. Like because I did my pre-blending, we're set. And it seriously makes it so much easier. If you want a really, really dramatic smoky eye, you can put a cream shadow base on after you blend, like any cream pencil or a pot liner. And you can put that color on, blend it in with a brush, and then you can add this shadow on top. And that will make it extremely opaque and very dark. But again, we're going for natural on her, so I'm not gonna do that. But it is an option. Turn towards me. So same thing on the other eyes. I turn my brush this way because it tapers a little bit, and so I'm going to use that point to push right into her lash line. They're beautiful extensions. They're just so pretty. Thank you. The one thing about extensions, when you do your eyeshadow, you'll get the powder fall out on your extensions. Have you noticed that? And it kind of makes them look a little bit gray. So I usually, after I'm done with someone's makeup with extensions, I'll go over with like a lash primer or water or something. You probably do that too. You have the lash primer, right? And that will get them wet and just clean off the shadows so they're dark again. You are good with your extensions, you know what to do, but some people don't. They don't think of that. Like, oh yeah, I wondered why my lashes never looked as dramatic when I did my eyeshadow. It's the same thing, just packing it in, making it match the other eye. And you'll notice I'm bringing it in a little bit more, so I'm really just following like her eyeball essentially. Like I'm going where it protrudes and I'm meeting the crease and doing like a nice round shape with this dark color. And when she opens her eyes, you'll just see more of the crease, like that light color, because I'm only doing the dark up to the crease. And again, that gives it more of that natural look. If you want darker, you want more dramatic, blend this color a little bit higher. I would still pack it in where I am, but then I would add more of this color to a fluffy brush and I would blend it a little bit higher. And I'll show you, we may do a little bit of that, but mostly I'm gonna keep it fairly natural. So I'm going to go on top of this with a shimmery shadow just to give it a little bit of pop. But if you want to keep it matte, I would either do a cream color base like I mentioned before to make it really opaque so you don't see any skin through it, or I would just keep packing on until it's very, very even. But we're going to add something on top, so you don't need to do that. Just make sure you're getting nice and close to the lashes. It's a little bit harder for me to do because I can't get in front of the camera, so I'm going to blend it a little bit with a fluffy brush. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my fluffy brush that had that medium color, and I'm just going to go right over where those two colors meet just to further blend. Things blended. Very diffused. That's my favorite thing about a smoky eye, when you don't see any lines. It just is a nice gradient of dark to light. So pretty. Okay, let's do a fun pop of bronze. So this is actually going to lighten it up a teeny bit. So be aware of that. When you do like a pop of shimmer or a pop of metallic, if it's lighter than this base color, it's going to lighten it up a little bit. But that's okay for her because I don't want it to be too dark. And this is where you have to be careful not to get fallout, because whenever you spread on shimmery shadows or shadows that are kind of chunky, they're gonna have a tendency to drop more. So I'm actually gonna spray my brush, get it wet a little bit, and then it won't fall out. And I'm actually gonna hold this brush under her eye too to help catch anything. Whenever you get a shadow wet, it makes it more intense, especially when it's metallic. Like, see how much shinier that is now that it's wet? So this is going to be really pretty. This is another color that just looks like so pretty on everybody. Like, it's very bronzy. It's like a rich bronze, like it's a mahogany bronze. It's very pretty. And I like this eyeshadow. If I did not have that dark color base under this, it would probably be like 4 shades lighter, which you can do. Like if you left just that medium color that I showed you guys in the beginning that I put over the lid, and you didn't do that dark color, it would give you like the same diffused look, but like a completely different, like it'd be lighter and more natural. So again, I'm just blending it. And I'm still being mindful of this area. You don't want to get it too dark, so I probably will take a little more white powder there at the end. I'm going to eyeball it and see. So I'm going to put more color in my brush, get it wet again. Do the same thing to the other eye. Turn your head towards me, perfect. Just trickier on this side. So another thing to avoid fallout, if you always pack your shadow on the same side of your brush and you don't change, it's going to keep it from like flaking off and getting it onto your skin. I'm gonna wipe it as I go if I need to. Once you've packed the majority on, you're fine. I'm just spreading that on, and when you do spreading motions, like you press and slide, it's gonna make the metallic pop. If you just press, it doesn't always look as shiny, and I like it to look really shiny, really metallic-y, so I spread it across your lid, and it's so pretty. Any shadow that has glitter in it, pressed glitter, sheen, it's the same. I always slide it across the lid. Depending on the look you want, I'm bringing this to pretty much go right over the top of all of the dark, but you can also leave it a little bit lower so that you have that like darker crease color, and that's pretty too. I really like the brand ColourPop. They're like an online brand, and they have these special like pressed shadows that are really soft, and they have a bunch of metallics, and they're so pretty. Like they are so shiny, and they carry every color. So if you really like that shine, like that pop of shine, go check out their website. Okay, that is looking so good. Open for me. I want to see, so you can see the dark color a little bit in her crease. So I like where that is. Go ahead and close. So I'm gonna lighten up that area again that I told you guys about with a different brush though, because I got, I put the darker shadow on that down brush. It's the same thing, just that color, just a little bit. Like I actually like it when the shadow comes up there a little bit more, but I just don't want it to touch the eyebrows. Now we're gonna do the liner, and the liner is the most important part. This one is a rich brown liner. I'm gonna draw it right up against her lash line. I want this look to be very like diffused and smudgy, so I'm not gonna do a wing. I'm not gonna do black again because I said I want it to be very natural, so I'm gonna draw like a nice line of this liner and then smudge it a little bit. Turn towards me. I might add a little bit of black shadow, just like almost wiggle it in between her lashes, just to darken those up. Open for me. Yeah, I think I will. And another thing, like when she opens her eyes, like this area right near the tear duct, I really like that dark. That will add some drama too. And that's hard to get with the pencil brush, just because it's so soft and kind of round. Sorry, I put it in front of your face so the camera can focus on it. So I like to use an angle brush. You can do gel shadow too. The reason I chose a pencil instead of gel is because, like I said, I wanted it to be more diffused, like softer. So pencil will give you more of a buffed look, but I'm gonna add a little bit of gel just straight against her lash line to add that drama so you can see what it looks like. And I'm gonna try brown. I'm gonna start with brown, and then if I want it darker, I'll add a little bit of black. But a lot of people don't think to use brown, so I like to show it because it gives a different effect, and I really like it. Go ahead and open, look at the stick, and follow it down there, and hold your eyes right there. Good. So you could use, if you were doing like cool tone shadows or like blue like I did last night, you could use like a midnight blue liner. That would be so pretty. Or deep purple. You can totally play with color. Like there's a lot of brands that have great colored shadows. And it's really fun. Like I almost like, go ahead and close, I almost like playing with liner color better than shadow color because it's like so wearable. Like it looks good on everybody. You don't want to do too crazy with your makeup, but you want to still do something fun. Go ahead and open. Look at the stick, follow it down. Good. I'm using the angle brush to get right in her tear duct. Go ahead and close. And then once I do that, I can have her close her eyes. I just need to flatten out that skin. When you do your own liner, if you tilt your head back and look down in a mirror, it kind of flattens out that area and you can get in closer to your lash line that way. Open for me, look down. I'm gonna do your waterline like right under your lashes. Feel free to blink if you need to. I always have my clients look away from the brush. Go ahead and look down. So it's not uncomfortable. Look this way to watch the brush come towards your eye. So now I'm gonna kind of come right under that line that I did. And I like the brown. I'm gonna stick with the brown. Look this way. because when you do a smoky eye, you don't want to see any of that light skin color. Like sometimes people will do a nice dark line, but then you'll see the white of your skin in between your lashes. And it just gives kind of a weird, like unfinished look. So it's really important that you keep that base dark. Even if you do really light shadows on the lid, like you don't go too dark. Good job. I still like to make sure the lash line is very diffused and dark. Good and close. So what keeps this, another thing that keeps this smoky eye very wearable is go ahead and open your eyes. Right here in the tear duct, I kept that light. When you see really dramatic smoky eyes, they'll bring the darkness in through that tear duct, which is very beautiful, but it's more, that will give you more drama. So pay attention, that's another area that makes like a huge difference. Go ahead and look down. So play around with that. When you're playing with smoky eyes, try both. See what you like on your eyes. If you have more wide set eyes, if they're further apart, she doesn't, you would want to do the dark in the inner corner to bring them closer together. If your eyes are closer together, you wouldn't, same thing, you're always trying to balance with makeup. Go ahead and look up for me. And I'm going to bring this color in a little bit. Perfect. So I'm going to wipe out her tear ducts with a little Q-tip. Just make sure they're clean. Go ahead and look forward. Every time you do someone's makeup, they'll get a little buildup in there, so just when you're working on that area, clean it out. I also have these little tiny Q-tips, and they're the best for the inner eye because they don't mess with any of the makeup. They're just little, and they're pointy. You can buy like all shapes of Q-tips. These are awesome. I did not set her under eye with powder, so you just have to keep an eye on it so it doesn't crease. Because like I said, I wanted that under eye area to be very bright, very soft. And it will set on its own. Okay, so I'm going to take that brow pencil again, and I'm going to do this in the bottom waterline. So go ahead and look up. Perfect. And I'm just going to pull her lid down a little bit and draw right in this waterline. So this color, I like it because you can tell when I'm drawing in a waterline, it's like a warm brown. Like it has a teeny bit of a red orange undertone. Look this way towards me, which I really like. Good job. Perfect. Look this way. And up a little. Good. Up here. Good. Same thing, just drawing it all the way under this eye. So this will change your look too. This is like probably a medium brown, but she could do a really dark brown and it would be more dramatic. So it's actually like the little things that are going to make your smoky eye more dramatic or more natural. Like it's not just about the color you put right on your lid. Look up again for me. And because people's waterlines are naturally wet, sometimes they absorb the product unevenly. So you might have to go back over certain areas. If they're more wet, it won't stick quite the same. So usually I'll put the gel liner on and then I'll finish the face and stuff like that, but I'll always check when I'm all the way done and make sure I don't need to go over it again. So now I'm going to do some shadow under the eye. I'm going to start with that medium tone brown and see how I feel about that and keep darkening it as I go. Look up for me. So this is the medium brown. And sometimes this is dark enough. I don't want to make her eyes look heavy, so I'm not going to start with the darkest shadow. It's another thing a lot of times I see people do. They'll do a smoky eye and do really, really dark under here, which sometimes is fantastic, and sometimes it's just too heavy, like you want it to be balanced. Another thing I watch for, I like always in between the lashes to be really dark. So I'm going to add a little more gel liner. Like you can see that the pencil I did in her waterline, it's nice and dark, but then her lashes in between each one is a little bit lighter. So I'm going to add some definition. And I like to use a pencil brush for this. Depending on how large your eye area is, you can use like a bigger fluffy blending brush. And sometimes that will help. Look this way. Sometimes that will help like diffuse it on its own. You can just rub it back and forth. But I like the pencil brush because I have more control and I can diffuse it on my own. I can go through and soften it a little bit. So once I have that placed, I'm going to take a blending brush, look up, and I'm just going to sweep it across the bottom just to get rid of like any lines. I'm going to go back in, I think with my gel liner. Go, good job. Just go between her lashes, darken those up. Smokey eyes always come to life when you do the lashes and you do the liner. So I love, look this way, I love her extensions. I'm going to add, just so you can see on camera, some more cluster lashes. So it gives it a little more drama, because probably with smokey eyes, I usually go a little more dramatic with the lash. Look at me. Perfect, look this way. Just going to make sure this is nice and sharp. This way, good. Clean it up with my Q-tip again, and then I'm show you guys how I do the lashes. So I'm going to brush through what she has. Go ahead and look down. Just really gently brush them out. I'm going to start adding some lashes. I'm going to clean my hand first. I'm going to grab some, these are Ardell double flares. So they are twice as thick as the normal flares. I don't know if that's focusing. But they're twice as thick, so they're more drama. And I'm going to add a black liquid lash glue in the back of my hand. And I just dip the clusters in and add them one by one. This glue, this is Duo, and it's their liquid with the little wand applicator. And it's not as strong as the normal glue, the normal Duo glue, which I like for her because she has the lash extensions. I don't want to put anything that's going to risk pulling out any of her extensions. This is going to be very easy for her to remove. Go ahead and look down. So I'm just pressing this on her. I'm pressing it to the base of her skin. Usually you kind of push it right into the base of her skin and her lashes, but I don't, like I said, I don't want to mix this glue in with her lash extensions. So I'm being really careful. You want to make sure the extensions are nice and straight so that when you lay these on top, they blend. So I'm just laying them pretty much next to each other. You can go ahead and close actually. And if you get any lash glue on the lid, you can just wipe it off. Again, I love those like pointy tweezers. So I'm going to go through, these are the long, these are Ardell long, and I'm going to do these all through the middle, see how I like it, and then I may extend them all the way out, or I may add some shorter ones. They come in short, medium, and long, so you can really play with your looks. Like on some people's eyes, I like the long ones all the way across, or to the outside corner like a cat eye. On some people, I like to do more of a rounded shape. It just depends. They're so much fun. You can do so much with lashes. I have on my channel, I do live every weeknight, but I also have an actual video, and it's all about lashes. It tells you what to buy for your eye shape. I go over every type of lashes there are. It's good. If you're a lash girl, it's a good one to watch. Go ahead and open. And even that just gave her so much drama. That's so pretty. Go ahead and look down. It's very hard to get these straight with the extensions, because the extensions are underneath. So you just kind of have to comb through as you go. But they're really pretty. I kind of like that like diffused look of the extensions where they're spread a little bit. I'm going to add more glue on my hand because it's starting to dry. It's like a happy medium with the glue. You want it to be just the right amount of tackiness. This one, go ahead and look down. This one starts like very runny and very wet, and then all of a sudden it's like so tacky. It's so dry. It has no like leeway time. The normal Ardell, it's not like that. I wanted to try the one with like the brush applicator, because you can just brush it right onto the strips for personal use, and that's like so much faster. Did you wear the strips before you got lash extensions?
No.
You never did?
No.
And you were a dancer too. You didn't wear like crazy lashes for...
Nope.
They were made for you. They look so good. So I'm just going along and putting them, when I do a full set of these, like all individual lashes, I'll go and have them like be touching, but I'm spreading these out just a little bit. I really just want that darkness around her lid. And as you go, just make sure the eyes match. If you have a hard time getting them on straight and they kind of sway to the side, you can do like one on one eye and move to the other eye and go back and forth, because that will give them time to dry. And once they dry, you can't push them to the side as easy. I think that's the problem people have most when they try to do these sort of lashes. It's like you get one on perfect and then you've messed up the one next to it. Like you've pushed it aside. It's just practice. So I think this is about all the long I'm gonna do, and then I'll do shorter ones open. Yeah, I like that. Look down. And when they open, you can see like how they're laying, and so I'll add more. There's a couple places where her extensions are parting, so I'm gonna add some shorter ones in next, and I'm gonna put those in between too. See how that looks. So these are the Ardell double flares again, and these are the short. So we're gonna go in with these and do the outside corners, the inside corners, and then probably fill in any holes with these. See how that looks. You're gonna be so excited. You're gonna want these thick lashes every day.
I know.
Why can't natural lashes just be like this insane?
Really
like,
full.
yes, that would be awesome.
And dark.
Yes, full, black, and curly.
Yes.
They have lash perms now.
What?
Like lash lifts, and it looks really good. You can lift your outside, or just lift your lashes, but it's best for people with like naturally dark lashes. Or I guess like some people's lashes grow straight down, so it'd be nice to have them lifted a little bit. Did you ever see like the eyebrow extensions? Like they would put individual hair. Did you ever see that? Did I ever show you?
No.
That, I don't know. I feel like it kind of died. So when lash extensions were really big, people started doing brow extensions. So they would take those little hairs and glue them onto it and like form a new brow. And they looked incredible, but
Wow.
I don't know much about them, but I always just wondered, I'm like, what happens like as they start to shed? You know, like right before you're filled, you just have like a
Right.
makeup. I don't know, but they were beautiful. I don't know if they're still like a thing anymore, if that totally faded. So I'm just bringing these right into the corner just to add some more darkness. If these are tricky for you, like if you were doing this on somebody, I would use not the double Ardells, like the ones that are thinner, because then you have more leeway. Like when they open their eyes, you don't see as much of a shadow. So there's a little more room for error. Turn towards me. So if you cleanse your lashes tonight, like you normally do, these will, they will very gently slide off.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm just kind of setting them onto almost your skin with the glue. And it's actually like a very lightweight glue. It's not very strong, so it's good for this. You don't want any fallout of your natural little lashes. For your extensions, your lash girl would be very mad at me. I caused them any harm. And I usually wouldn't, like if you had extensions, this is not for you to do daily. You don't want to be adding to them, but for a special event or photo shoot or something like that, you have extensions and you do want to alter your lashes, because extensions can only get them so full. So this is an option, a good option that will not hurt them. I would say this is better than the strips, because the strip comes off in like one big band, so it might like tug on some. These will just kind of come off in each little cluster, so they're much more gentle. Open for me. Great, look down. Open. Very good. I like the way that looks. Looking at her, I see one space over here. Go ahead and close. So I'm going to add one more lash. These are glam. I'm all about the lashes. So we went really natural on the lid, but I did do more drama with the lashes because I just love it. Like, that's where I like my drama. I'm more of like a lash girl than like a wing eyeliner girl. Like, there's different ways. You kind of pick where you want to add your drama. Go ahead and open and look forward. Close. So when I have her open, I just look and see where there's like, if there's a space. It looks too light and I add more lash. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm probably gonna add a little bit of mascara to her lashes. And with extensions, you want to do not waterproof. So no waterproof mascara on the extensions, ever. It will harden on them and you can't get it off unless you use oil, but that takes the extensions off. So that's a no-no. So do either the lash sealer that is made for the lashes. There's also mascaras that are made for the lashes, or you can do a mascara that is not waterproof. Okay, so while that dries, I'm going to do her lips. I'm going to get the Anastasia lip palette. I'm going to do color number 4. I'll hold it up to the camera. So it's this one. It's a nude, but it has some warm undertones because I'm keeping this look very warm. So I'm going to scrape that out. This lip palette's really awesome. Have you seen it?
It's pretty.
Yeah, you can mix all the colors. They have like the primary mixers in there. So you can change it to match people's skin tone. You can add any of those colors. If you want it more peachy, you can add yellow and red. You can add more blue if you want it to be cool toned. They have white and black if you want to lighten it or darken it. It's really awesome, actually. Okay, so getting a lip brush. Go ahead and open for me. I like a nude lip with smoky eyes usually. It depends on the look. Like if you want a very wearable, sort of more natural, I want to keep the lips like a neutral, like a warm neutral or a cool neutral, like something that is in balance with the rest of the tones that you're using. She has like beautiful tan bronzy skin, so I want to do the same thing in her lips. And she has a great shaped lip, so I want to go a little darker, but I don't want to distract from the eye that we did. So I spread the color on with that brush, and I'm going in with like a little more dense brush so that I can do the detail better. I usually like to use 2 lip brushes. I use one that spreads out more to spread the color on, and then I take one that's more narrow and very tight. Like when you press down, it doesn't really spread, and that way I can get really, really perfect, like crisp edges. I need a little bit more color, so I'm just going to depot that again with my spatula. I never dig right into the color with my brush because I want to keep it sanitary. I don't want a brush that's touched a client to go into lipstick that will touch another client's lips. I always go in with the spatula. I'm just cleaning up the edges, adding more color as I go, making it sharp. And then sometimes if you draw a little X, it helps you get that point. You start up here, go down, start up here, go down. It keeps a nice crisp line. And once I do this, I can add our mascara. I'm going to check and just make sure everything's balanced. I might add more blush. I added some before, but I always like to look when I'm all the way done because you don't want to start with too much blush. Like I said, you want everything to be very balanced. This is a pretty color in you. I don't think they sell these shades individually, which is such a bummer. They might now. Anastasia just came out with like a full line. She used to only have that lip palette. But now she has like individual lipsticks too. I'll have to check actually. It'd be nice to refill them when you run out. turn towards me. Good. Kind of like a matte formula. They don't have a lot of shine to them, which I like, especially like under all these lights. You get a lot of reflection. These are great too if you like a stain. Like you could do just the lightest layer of this and it would look like a lip stain. Okay, after I do that, I'm going to clean it up with concealer, just around the edges. And put your mascara on. So I either use concealer or I use the foundation that I did on them and I clean around their lips. I'm going to mix the two because I highlighted under her eyes a little bit with the concealer, so it's probably going to be a teeny bit too light for around the lips. I'm going to take a bigger lip brush. I have so many lip brushes. And just edge right around the lips. It just gives just a really sharp line. This is good if you were like to over draw your lips. You could edge it up and it would make it look more like a real lip line, but we did not need to do that on you. You have great lips. I'm so excited for you to see your eyes. They look so pretty.
I can't wait.
I love them. I'm just gonna go over the lipstick a teeny bit on this side. Right there. Okay, let's add some mascara. Let's do black mascara. I'm going to take one of my tiny little mascara wands. The wand is really skinny, like really narrow, so it's going to get in really good at the base. Because I don't need mascara on the tips of her lashes. They're plenty thick and long. I'm just going to darken up the base and push the extensions into her lashes we had. Okay, look down. Yes. This will also straighten them out too. It's going to stiffen the extensions a little bit. Look forward or look up. Yeah. These look very doe-eyed, like very fluffy, like diffused. I really like it. And you want to be so gentle when you're doing this because you don't want to move them around and you don't want to tug on her extensions. So that's why I like this like little brush that's not too fluffy so you can be really precise. All right, look up for me. I'm gonna do your bottom lashes. Always love bottom mascara. You can put on bottom eyelashes if you want. Actually, those little clusters we did, the shorter ones we did on the outside and the inside, people will turn those upside down and put them on for bottom lashes. Oh, wow. And it actually looks really good. It just gives like a darker look. You do them further apart, like you kind of space them out and then you put mascara. But they look really cool. Maybe I'll have to do a video on that too. It's very like Kardashian, like you know how they're like smoky on top, smoky on bottom? Mm-hmm. It's the lashes, like you can only do so much with shadow. They also sell strip lashes that are for your bottoms.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it funny? All the things you do. And it's funny to do all that and like you can still get a natural look with it. Like playing with what people already have. Okay, perfect. There's a little ball of mascara on the bottom line. I'm just going to clean it up. Good, and like I said, so this is the point where I check the liner again, and I'm going to darken it up. Look up. Because her natural oils and waters will start to eat at it, but when you do your second coat, it's going to stay all day. You can also add a layer of powder over top. And that will set it and it will not move. And I'm going to clean up under her eye. I'm going to add a tiny bit more concealer. And I'm going to set this with just the thinnest layer of powder. You just have to watch your client's eyes. Some people tend to crease more, some people do not, and only apply powder if you need it. If they're not creasing, don't put any. If they are, just add a teeny bit. I just want the skin to look very hydrated, very like plump. And then I'm gonna add a little more highlighter. I'm gonna go in with like a gold bronzy color. So this is the Anastasia Glow Kit. And I'm gonna do shade 143 and Glow Getter, because they both have a golden undertone. And add that on the highest points of her cheeks. So pretty. The model. It looks, these bronzy tones are very flattering when people have like the warmer, almost, she has like a teeny bit of like copper undertones in her brown hair, and it's so pretty. I love to do shadows that also complement like the hair too, not just the skin tone. All right, let me get you a mirror so you can see. Yay!
Oh my gosh. I love it.
So pretty.
Just like you, I'm a lash girl. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes, me
Dramatic.
too. Me
Oh,
too.
it's so pretty.
You're
Thank
such a
you.
babe. Thank you for being my
Oh,
model
thank
today.
you.
You were so fabulous. Thank you for watching. It was so fun.
Thank
I'm live
you.
every weeknight at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, guys. Bye.